Watsonville, California, population 31,099. Watsonville is a small town in the tradition of lots of American small towns. The principal industry is agriculture, truck farming, lettuce, berries, and flowers grown in the rich soil of the Pajaro Valley. Watsonville is 96 miles south of San Francisco, and some might argue a long ways from the sophistication of corporate America. But this small town is at the heart of where quality products and services are born.
Quality that is not based upon highfalutin theories and convoluted management techniques, but on old-fashioned American values, simple ideas of honesty, pride, and doing the job right the first time.
There you go.
If you're happy, most likely you're going to come back, and so we want to keep our customers happy. It benefits everyone in the long run.
We're just trying to strive for customer satisfaction and service.
The difference between working for this company and working for those companies is we care about our customers and they don't.
We're good, but we're even going to get better. And I know that.
A personal decision to do the best you can. Simple standards of the people who make up a company called the Grantie Rock, winners of the 1992 Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award.
Every individual is a part of the award, and every individual has, in a sense, the autonomy, the freedom to make choices and decisions to improve their job, to improve customer service, to improve the quality of our products.
Oh, finest company I've ever worked for. I worked for quite a few companies, and this is the best company I've ever worked for. They care about the people, they care about the family.
Yeah, it's a great crew we got here, because anytime we do anything here, we do it by, we rule by committee here.
Kind of moved the Indians up and pushed the boss out, I think. We just let him sign the check.
Those Indians have come up with a whole slew of quality improvements, the kind of changes which keep a company like Grantie Rock competitive. Improvements in operations, safety, procedures, equipment, relationships. Critical to the idea is that the customer is king, and customers are anyone Grantie Rock people do business with. Cheryl Shoup does business with other Grantie Rock people. Her department discovered that the medical insurance claim forms they used were a pain to fill out, so they came up with one which was a lot easier.
At Grantie Rock Company, in the personnel department, we consider other Grantie Rock people our customers, and we looked at ways of providing better customer service for them, and the claims process is one of those things.
For Mike Lax of Pavex, safety was the motivation for an idea, a lockout device which keeps a plant shut down while it's being worked on.
If you have, say, 3 or 4 people working on that piece of equipment, especially something like this, you have to lock that out. You have to, so that nobody, you know, if the man's working in the pug mill or working in the hopper, he has to lock that out. And he has his own lock, and he goes back and he switches the key off, and then the box locks the key inside. Then you have several locks. I'll show it to you, but you have several locks that you can put in, and each man has his own lock, so it can't be started unless everybody's lock's off of there.
For Ron Irwin and the Peninsula Road Materials Branch, necessity was the mother of invention. In the early 80s, the EPA said that leftover asphalt could no longer be dumped on the ground. So he helped come up with a system to deal with the waste, turning a problem into profit.
So the trucks back in, and they blow their waste out in here, then we cook it off, then we pump it out into the truck, then we convert it into an SC70, which we in turn sell it now as a product. So we're turning waste into a good product to sell.
Charlie Corwell's idea was a twofer, 2 for the price of 1. A new tanker truck which has 2 compartments instead of 1. That means one truck can pave and then seal a job, saving time and money.
They tell us if we have an idea that what we can buy or need, we come up with what we want to get. And so far, the last few things we've purchased, not only this truck, but one other truck, we've just sat down and said, this is what we want. We gave them a good enough argument, and that's what we've gotten. And it's worked.
It's worked because since its beginning, Grantie Rock understands that the best ideas come from people who are closest to the problem, from San Francisco to Monterey.
After more than 92 years, Grantie Rock is still family-owned and operated. employing 400 people in 12 locations throughout the Bay Area.
Back in 1986 and 1987, as we said, from now on, let's do something that other companies won't do. And this would be a tremendous advantage for us. When a customer calls up and asks for something maybe very special, something we've never done before, say, yes, we can do that. Let me figure out how to do it, and I'll call you back. But the answer is yes, we'll do it.
And Granite Rock has been saying yes to its people, encouraging them to develop better, more efficient ways to deliver products and services, empowering them to make their own quality improvements.
Well, if you put an idea in, they'll look into it. If they like it, they'll do it.
Some companies you work at, they say sure, but the bottom line is the dollar. And here, of course, they have to weigh how much something's going to cost. But like I said, most of the time they're pretty positive about going ahead with the idea, even if it's going to cost a few dollars.
We're getting what we want. We're getting what the customer wants. We're getting, hopefully, what's best for Granite Rock as a whole.
Greg Tedesco wanted a better way to mix concrete. While weighing huge quantities of cement, rock, and water might not seem a precise science, it is because of different requirements for strength, durability, texture, and curing time. There are more than 1,400 recipes for concrete, and each must be delivered within exact specifications. Working with his manager, Greg found a computer-based system which delivers 6 Sigma precision.
We know that every load that comes out of the plant is going to be consistent, it's going to be within spec, and we won't have any problems down the road.
Terry Wydell wanted to give customers a way to load Granite Rock products whenever they wanted, even when the quarry was closed. He helped develop a system called Granite Express.
And one of the biggest requests that we had was to come up with after-hours loading, because at 3 or 4 o'clock, everybody goes home. Contractors' jobs just keep right on going, and there's nobody here to load. So what we did was develop what's known as the after-hours loading. It's for after 3 or 4 o'clock. It's weekends. And we've given customers these cards, which is much like an ATM card.
With that special card, a customer can get into the quarry and be guided every step of the way through the process of confirming the order, receiving it, even getting a printed tag. Totally automated. Material picked up when the customer needs it.
San Francisco Road Materials Branch wanted a way to unload rail cars which was quicker and safer. He developed a marker system which allows one man to precisely line up a rail car for unloading.
You have a free hand at anything you want to do for improvements, and that's one of the improvements that was made here in South San Francisco by me.
Eddie also came up with an air-powered shaker which vibrates the sand out of a car. It's a job which used to take a sledgehammer, a lot of time, and a lot of effort.
We have a really nice safety program here, and they don't mind the money they spend as long as everything's done correctly, which is really neat, you know.
For lubrication engineer Dan Johnson, quality improvement meant a way to keep the grease clean.
Well, anytime you transfer grease from one place to another around a rock quarry like this, you're going to get contamination.
Contamination of small rocks, sand, causes burned-out bearings, which brings production to a screeching halt. Dan's idea was to plumb an entire 6-story plant so the grease was never exposed to grit.
To make it work, pull it back and snap it on. Open this valve, open this valve. You got grease clean to the top, 110 feet. I can go any different direction in the towers I want to go, but the main thing is it's contaminated free. We can't get no material in it whatsoever.
For piggybacks on trucks presented a special problem for A.R. Wilson Quarry mechanics and master mechanic Neil Marshall. The brakes pack a lot of pent-up power, and if they were just thrown away, they'd be dangerous. Bruce Reachers designed a special trap to disarm the springs.
You know, if we just throw it away somewhere, somebody could get hurt. It's against the law to do that. But it's been happening. It happened. Like in a dump, if a dozer run over that, crushed it, and that spring flew out of there, it might fly out of there, you know, 300 or 400 yards, hit somebody and hurt them real bad.
Show and tell was the idea behind several quality improvements like this display built at the Santa Cruz branch. Dwayne Lofton knew that giving customers ideas about how to use a product would mean more sales, and he was right.
We had several customers ask if we knew of jobs where different things were down, and we do, But rather than send them all over the county, we thought, why not show them something right here in our yard that they might, that would look aesthetically pleasing as well as conventional. So that's why we decided to do this.
Bruce Robinson of the Watsonville branch knew that if he made it easier for a customer to see what was available, then time and trouble would be saved on both sides of the counter.
People come in and say, I want drain rock. And you say, what size? And they go like this. So now they're able to point to which size.
Jeff Schreiber supervised the construction of a customer display at the Salinas branch, which includes concrete blocks, pavers, retaining walls. It's a regular patio.
Well, most customers don't have any idea what can be done with concrete. Most of the time you think of a driveway, a walkway, and so we wanted, it was mainly our idea to show what can be done.
Dan Patterson in Monterey took the idea a couple of steps further, building a Granite Rock general information store which gives contractors and other customers a place where they can get good ideas and work on integrating them into their plans.
Let me show you the information store. We have different varieties of brick and stone, plastering material, paving stone, patio, concrete information. And then we have the plan table where the customer can come in and look over his plans.
In the Peninsula Road Materials branch, the challenge was different. What if the customer had a hard time getting around a Granite Rock facility? A customer survey turned up a curious thing at the plant in Redwood City. They complained about having to wait a long time for service. But what it came down to was something quite a bit different.
So we thought long and hard about why it would be that a customer would say they have to wait a long time to get loaded in the yard. And what we found out was that it wasn't that the customers were waiting a long time, it was that this is such a big yard they were getting lost.
See an elevated spray rack there in front of you. Stop there. There's a speaker just like the one that you're speaking to now. There on the rack at the end on the right-hand side.
First thing we did was draw up a map of the yard. And we had old maps in the past, but they were like 10 years old, and if you can imagine like mapping the Soviet Union or something now, this yard has changed that dramatically.
Robin Wilson of the Monterey branch wanted a way to let customers know they were important. She devised a photo display of customers as a way of saying thank you for their business.
We thought, what could we do that would be different to say thank you? We thought, well, cards would be nice, but they're just read and then tossed. So we thought we could take their pictures and identify them on their pictures as to who they were and which company they represented. And this way they would last for a couple of years.
Michael Piercy of the MIS department figured the customer would appreciate getting in and out as quickly as possible. He wanted to improve the existing building materials computer point of sale system, which would speed the process and connect to Granite Rock's customer billing system in real time.
What we tried to do in developing a new system, was to give the salesperson as many tools for making a sale as possible. It allows them to get their sale done as quickly as possible. Most of our customers are individuals who are doing their job on a time-restricted basis, and the less time they spend doing the collection of their materials, the more time they'll have to do their job.
Greg Deal and Carol Isle wanted a way to let the customer know about Granite Rock's product and service guarantee. They figured that money talks. If a customer is unhappy with a product or service, all they have to do is draw a line through their invoice and send it back unpaid. No questions asked. It's guaranteed to get results.
Yes, because it's so easy. They say, oh, is that all I have to do? And I said, yep, that's all you have to do. And they're satisfied with that.
90% of customers don't complain when they're upset anyway because it's too difficult to complain. You know, they don't want to make the phone call, or they don't want to take the time to write a letter to the president. And with this system, all they have to do is just draw a line through the item on the invoice and not pay it. And that's very easy for them to do, so consequently a lot more of them tend to do it, and that's exactly what we want to happen because it brings to the Granite Rock people's attention that there's a problem, and that's what we're interested in fixing.
It is the ultimate guarantee. There is no stronger guarantee that I know of today than that one. And in a business, if a business can master that one, that if you're not satisfied with a product or service, don't pay us for it. If you can master that one, you have given the customer the ultimate guarantee.
Another kind of guarantee relates to for Eloise Mills and the payroll department. Because they're responsible for payroll, making sure the time cards are accurate is critical. They came up with a Timekeeper Award to improve the accuracy of the cards turned in, and it works.
Well, it helps our payroll department in key punching the time cards and also gives the employee the benefit of getting an accurate paycheck, as well as it helps with the accounting of the labor costs on the operating statements. And we consider our people customers of us. They're our only customer. They're the only ones that we really deal with on a daily basis is the people that we pay. So they are our customers.
The people of Granite Rock have taken the idea of a customer relationship and built upon it. A customer is anyone you do business with, whether they're buying or selling. When Rosie Flores and Jim Malata wanted to find out how the land department was doing, they conducted a customer survey of the more than 90 tenants who rent from Granite Rock.
And my first thought was, customers? Who are my customers? What do you mean the tenants? Or are they customers? And I thought, and it made me realize that I hadn't really looked upon them as a customer before.
I think the survey reflects the efforts and the philosophy of the company. We try to give the best service that we can to our customers, and we're always asking, how can we do better?
Things upon ourselves to find solutions to problems. We just help ourselves, try and do whatever we can, save the company money, and, make our jobs easier.
Save the company money and make the job easier. Eric Strike helped interconnect the engineering workstations to maximize productivity. These computers can execute drawings and calculations in a fraction of the time.
The biggest improvement we have gotten with this computer system is the time savings. We can now do multiple calculations, trial and error designs instantaneously through the help of the computer and the computer-aided design. We have experienced efficiency increases of up to 50,000% based upon time savings. What used to take us 3 or 4 days, we can do now in a matter of hours.
Came up with a pre-trip safety inspection card for all Santa Cruz drivers. It helps new drivers become familiar with their truck, and it helps experienced operators go through their daily routine so they don't miss anything.
Granite Rock is quite a company. We come up with an idea and they listen to it, and if it sounds good to them, they take it as far as it needs to go to be, especially in the safety department. They're real safety conscious, and just a great company to work for.
Great people make a great company, and Granite Rock has the best. Granite Rock is committed to helping its people grow. Most folks in Granite Rock have something called an IPDP. It stands for Individual Professional Development Plan. Folks call it the Ippy-Dippy. It's an opportunity to sit down and figure out where you want to grow, both personally and professionally.
Higher quality sand.
Good. Now I'm going to ask you to read that whole paragraph together because you were sweating over it. But remember, 5 months ago you couldn't read a word. So go ahead.
The Ippy-Dippies for Danny Johnson and Paul Bush are fundamental, learning how to read and write. For most of their lives, they've been forced to fake it, devising ways to get around the fact they were dyslexic and illiterate.
When you don't know how to read, you don't know how to write. It goes hand in hand. So therefore, every day I go to school, I knew I was going to get chewed out by the teacher. I didn't do my homework, or she was going to embarrass me by asking me to stand up to read something, and you can't read it.
I got caught in a situation where I had to write down my thoughts and put them on paper for Bruce Wolpert. And he wanted it done then, right now.
I've tried 4 different times to learn how to read my life. The Army tried. I went to 3 years of college. They tried. The high school tried.
He asked me if I wanted to do something about it, and I told him yes. And I figured, well, maybe he would go back to his office, and that would be the end of it.
I wrote my first letter to my brother. We wrote it here in the class. And I sent it, he lives in Oregon, I sent it there, and I got his letter back, and I read every word except for one. And he misspelled it, and I couldn't figure it out. And that just tickled me to death.
There is no joy. A few other dyslexics, too.
I want to get my pilot's license. And I think I should know what I'm reading before I get up there a few feet.
It will become a better company is if we become better people, more knowledgeable people in being able to do our jobs. And the company and the individual are investing in both their future, Granite Rock people's future, as well as the company future. Every dollar that's spent on Granite Rock's training program helps the individual and helps the company.
Winning the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award means that Granite Rock is recognized as a company committed to continuous improvement. But the award is shared by every Granite Rock person, because a company can only be as good as its people.
With the initiation of their Total Quality program, Granite Rock has exceeded its industry standards for high quality and unmatched service. And rather than follow a well-worn path, Granite Rock chose to chart its own way, a journey that's brought them here today, an award-winning company that defines success in 3 little words: another satisfied customer.
The highest reward for a person's hard work is not what they get for it, but what they become by it. The Granite Rock team couldn't be prouder of what we've become.
And in the small business category, Bruce Wolpert, co-president and CEO, Granite Rock Company, Watsonville, California.
It began years ago and we watched it grow for